Hey everybody, Michael Fabiano here with Sports Illustrated Fantasy, and welcome to Week 14, which means it's another bye-mageddon. The Bears, the Colts, the Commanders, the Falcons, the Packers, the Saints, all off this week, which means the waiver wire will be more important than ever. So to help you pick up the best players off the wire, let's bring in Jen Piacenti, the princess of props. And Jen, let's talk about the quarterback position. A lot of people are going to be hurting at that spot this week. Who should we look to target?
Number one, you want to go check and make sure that Jared Goff is available, because he is available in 50% of leagues. Last week, he finished the QB4 versus the Jaguars, and this week he gets the Vikings, who've allowed the most passing yards per game to opposing quarterbacks, including 369 just last week to Mike White. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown and now a healthy DJ Chark, DeAndre Swift, and even Jameson Williams. So I really like Goff for this week. If you're in a deeper league, of course, you want to pivot and look for maybe someone like Kenny Pickett, who's got Baltimore, and he's getting better and better every week.
Tyler Huntley's also going to be a hot ad off the wire with Lamar Jackson out. And you mentioned Mike White. Don't love the matchup this week, but he's been pretty good the last couple of weeks. Now to the running back position, where it's very thin, but a certain Buffalo back could be helpful this weekend.
Yeah, and it's Dalvin's little brother. Now, maybe it won't necessarily be this weekend, but as you said, it's very thin, and I like how he looks maybe going through the rest of the season, because James Cook had more rushing yards, more catches, and more receiving yards than the starter for Buffalo, who was Devin Singletary. Now, of course, Nyheim Hines is being rotated in there too, but we know that this is the time of the season when a lot of times teams let their rookies kind of start to take over, kind of start to do what they do. So I like James Cook moving forward. Also, Zonovan Knight did not disappoint for us last week. He ended as the RB10 with 90 rushing yards and 5 grabs for another 28. So if by any chance Zonovan Knight is still out there, go ahead and put your bids in.
Cam Akers also could be out there. We all thought it was going to be Kyren Williams, and last week it was Akers, and he's got a good matchup against the Raiders this week. And then with Kenneth Walker injured, Travis Homer, DJ Dallas also going to be a look off the wire. Moving on to the wide receiver position, and a player who played very well in a revenge game last week.
And it's DJ Chark, and I don't know, maybe you can even pair him with Jared Goff. But we know that DJ Chark was majorly used before he missed weeks 4 through 11, pardon me. And he played only 2 fewer snaps than Amon-Ra on Sunday, but he actually ran 2 more routes. He turned that into 98 yards and 5 grabs versus the Jaguars. He's a deep threat. And as I mentioned, remember, the Vikings, they allowed 369 yards to Mike White last week. We saw how Garrett Wilson went off, and even Corey Davis had a productive fantasy week. So DJ Chark, who's available in 85% of leagues, is a pretty good ad off the waiver wire.
Let's finish off with the tight ends, and this position's a nightmare. We can't even use Hayden Hurst now. He's hurt. I mean, everybody's hurt. Players are not playing up to snuff. But there is a couple of tight ends that could be useful, including one who I think could be a big-time sleeper. You like him too, Hunter Henry.
Yeah, Hunter Henry has seen 10 targets across the past 2 weeks, and let's not overcomplicate it. The Arizona Cardinals absolutely stink versus the tight end. It's just that simple. It's a thin position. Put your waiver wire claims in for Hunter Henry. You could also obviously look for Greg Dulcich, who seems to be the #1 target for Russ Wilson, and now we know Cortland Sutton's dealing with a hamstring injury, and of course Evan Engram, who is heavily involved in that Jacksonville offense.
Yeah, if you want to go a little deeper too, Daniel Bellinger for the Giants. It's rough sledding out there, folks. So those are the top pickups for Week 14, and remember, 6 teams on a bye, so make sure you get on top of the waiver wire this week. It's very important. You only have 1 more week before the fantasy playoffs begin. And also be sure to check out our Sports Illustrated YouTube channel, where you can always find waiver wire ads, start 'em and sit 'em, and so much more. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.